Whether you like it or dislike it, the Mongoose XR-Pro is a little different than your average big box bike. I purchased one about 2 months ago. Didn't really make it far with the bike. Never made it onto the trail. As a matter of fact, the chain broke riding it onto the trail. Caught a little bit of flack for taking it back to Walmart for a simple broken chain. For the replacement XR Pro, I decided I wouldn't hit the trails immediately. I was going to break this thing in on the streets, shake it down, and make sure everything worked. I bike commute, so about 90% of my riding is on the streets rather than the trails. But I did want to point out that if you're going to bike commute on an XR Pro, you're really going to get a workout. As a matter of fact, if you're planning on bike commuting or getting into cycling for fitness, ditch the fitness bike and buy one of these if you want to work out. The weight combined with the full suspension and those wide tires really make for a difference. I felt like I was riding twice as much to cover the same distance on my daily commute. It's a good workout. One area I've seen people complain about on the XR Pro is the brakes. They say that they're inferior. I didn't find that to be the case. As a matter of fact, when I get cut off at intersections, they work really well. Dodging traffic aside, the XR Pro is excellent at handling bumps in rough city areas. There's a sidewalk I ride onto daily. It's lifted up by tree roots, really rattly on another bike, not on the XR Pro. A lot of people criticize the tires and the tubes that come on the XR Pro from the factory, and that may be a fair argument considering what you pay. When I rode over a curb and lost half the air in my rear tire, instantly I blamed the tube. Turns out I was wrong. I ran over a nail. That gave me a chance to look at the inner wall on these double wall rims. Not bad. The guy at the bike shop even mentioned that these rims look like they would be great for a tubeless setup. Punctured tube aside, I did have another issue on this bike, and it's one that had reared its head before, and another reason that I'm glad that I commuted on this thing before hitting the trail with it again. Yeah, and that's on flat, smooth ground. I mute the audio here because my words were less than academic. I was far from thrilled. Thought the chain came off, but I looked down and there is no chain. I look back and the chain is about 20 feet back laying on the ground. This is another chain broken on another XR Pro. The first chain broke riding it onto a trail with a 250-pound rider. This chain broke with me on it, riding on basically flat ground, barely pedaling. Yet it still came apart. So I've cooked up a theory. I think that KMC may license the chain manufacturing name to Pacific Cycles, because these clearly aren't holding up like your traditional KMC chain. To make matters worse, I forgot to bring my jacket, and this was the first really cool day, and here I am on a 2-mile walk of shame. Fool me twice, shame on me, but you're not going to fool me a third time. I had the bike shop put on a new chain. I also had him look at the existing chain to tell me if he thought I was correct in my theory about the KMC licensing. He said that it appeared to be a legitimate KMC chain, and just one of those things. Gotta admit, I was a little shocked that the Trek dealer wasn't trashing this bike. As a matter of fact, he had mostly positive things to say about it. He did mention that the bottom bracket was inferior, but I knew that going into the bike. That's a $35 replacement. But overall, he said it's on par with some of the lower end Treks. With my new chain and some validation, I'm back on the road. I haven't had any more problems with this bike since putting on the new chain, so I think it's trail ready. As a matter of fact, the next time you see this bike, it'll be on the trail. While I was at the bike shop, a couple of people expressed interest in riding this thing on the trail. Some of them have far more skill than me, so I may let them have a go at it. Let them abuse it and see if it's going to hold up. That'll give us a true test. In the meantime, I'll build my cardio by pumping this thing up hills, because it's definitely a good fitness bike if you want to pump up hills. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and stay tuned because I found out there's a new trail in town. I'm going to take the XR Pro out to it, so the next time you see this bike, you'll also be seeing a new trail.